All right, so welcome to chapter 4, which is, get the right name for it, utilities cost control. You're going to pay a lot of money for utilities, all right? Much more so than just proportionally higher than what you would at for your private residence. Let's say your private residence, you pay X amount of money. Let's talk about electricity first. X amount of money for X amount of usage, all right? So if you double that usage in your commercial property, stands to reason that you would double your fees. That's not the way it works. It's going to be tiered, and it's going to end up being doubling your usage from your home to your business. It's going to be a lot more than just double the price. And let's face it, it's going to be much more usage than just doubling. It's probably triple, quadruple, 10 times, right? And it's going to be a lot more than just 10 times what you pay at home. It's going to be, I wouldn't even begin to guess, but it's going to be significantly higher than that. So let's talk about, and this is chapter 4. There's a lot going on in this chapter, like all of these chapters. You're going to need to read them. I'm just going to briefly talk about some of the key things here. And let's talk about how we pay for electricity first off. How is it billed? It's going to be billed differently for every place, right? For every jurisdiction, if you will, for in every utility company, every power company is going to bill you differently. Or there's going to be different plans that you can choose from. And some might be good for you, some might not be bad for you. So if you do choose your plan, make sure you choose it wisely and understand what these things mean, okay? So first off, it's the consumption charge. Consumption charge is basically you're paying for what you use. If only that's what it was, life would be easy. You pay X amount per kilowatt hour, because that's the unit of measure that we pay for our consumption charge. You pay X amount per kilowatt hour, and then if I use 10, I pay 10x. 10 kilowatt hours, I pay 10 times that price. But that's not the way it works. Again, it's tiered. So between X amount of kilowatt hours and Y, X and Y, you're going to pay this much per kilowatt hour. Then when you get up to the next tier, then you're going to pay a little bit more. Then the next one, you pay more and more and more. So even if you pay purely on consumption charge, there will be, it will not be proportionate. It will be disproportionate because the more you pay, or the more you use, the more you pay. Okay? All right. So then we have the demand charge. Demand charge is the more you use, the more you pay, but you pay for all of it, or you pay a fee, or it rolls into the entire bill. So if I have a 15-minute period a day that I use way more than the rest of the day, they might base your entire bill on that, or have a fee based on that. And then every day or every week or every month, that highest 15-minute period is going to dictate the monthly demand charge. All right. So that's demand charge and consumption charge. Those are pretty straightforward charges. Then we start getting into things that are a little bit more convoluted. The facilities charge. Facilities charge is basically a way to combine your your consumption along with demand. Now, in most facilities charges, they have what they call a ratchet clause. The ratchet clause could be dangerous for you. All right. So instead of taking that demand fee for that 15-minute period for the highest 15-minute period for the month and working it into your monthly demand charge, this is taking your highest month out of the year and applying it to the entire year. All right. So you have, say, here in North Carolina, let's say we own a restaurant or a hotel in North Carolina. Our busiest seasons here in the beach in Wilmington are the summertime, right? So we have summertime usage is our business. So let's say July, we have the biggest 15-minute period of the year. So that high demand fee that we had for July works into our entire year until I have a new July, which may be higher, maybe less. We might reduce our demand fee if we use less this new July but July is still our highest month. Okay, or if July is our highest month, it's always been our highest month, but for this year, for whatever reason, we have August peaks us. Maybe we have 2 or 3 or 4 different really high energy usage type activities going on, events, whatever, and they're all in August, and that brings August way up there. Well, guess what? You get to pay that August fee for the entire year. All right. So here we are paying a demand fee that is really high in February, where we're not using hardly any electricity because A, we don't have the business, and B, we're not having air conditioning on. Our heat is not electricity, so we're not using a whole lot, but we're still paying that high demand fee. So not every place uses a ratchet clause in a facilities charge or even a facilities charge, but if they do, you need to understand it, because you can be seeing this demand fee in February that is astronomically high, and you're like, what the heck? Why is this? It's because some kind of facilities charge with a ratchet clause, okay? Ratchet clause, excuse me. Some other charges, you're gonna have flat rate charges. Some places might just do a flat rate. So the consumption charge is consumption charge. You're paying X amount for kilowatt hours, and then with the flat rate charge is an additional, every month you're gonna pay irregardless, you're gonna pay this amount in a flat rate. Flat rate might be beneficial to you, it might not be. Okay, you might not have any choice. All right, and then consumption charges, again, we talked about that. Other consumption-based things, some electric companies might impose, such as a contribution to the Universal Electric Charge Fund, so everybody has to pay to the electricity charge fund to keep the grid going. Or they might have credits, all right? They give you credit for, using less, or doing things to reduce the draw on the grid, things like having electric vehicles and things like that, or stuff like that. Okay, so let's see, and then taxes. Any given jurisdiction, you might have 1 to 2 to 3 different taxes. I don't know what they are here in our power company, but or in our state as far as the state tax or local taxes. Well, you can count on at least 1 or 2 or 3, okay? In some states it might be more, some might have penalty type taxes, so bear that in mind. So let's talk about managing your electrical costs. There's a couple ways to do it, or there's probably many different ways to do it, but there's a couple strategies, okay? And you should use both strategies, all right? But the first one is to manage consumption. So irregardless of where we pay consumption fees or a consumption charge only, or we have demand fees or whatever we got going on, reducing the amount of electricity we use is going to help us out, all right? So overall consumption can be reduced in many different ways. Turn the lights off when they're not being used. All the stuff that, we grew up hearing our parents tell us, shut the door, turn the heat down, turn the air conditioning down, whatever, all right? Having those motion sensors on for lights and things of that nature, as long as this doesn't cause a safety issue. Replacing iridescent bulbs with LEDs, all those things. What are some other things? In commercial kitchens, we use an enormous amount of electricity keeping our food within the safe zone, outside the danger zone, right? We do it with cool and hot, right? Hot, we're running those steam tables 24/7, right? Well, if we don't need them on, turn them off. But the bigger one is probably the cooling. Walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, the doors left open. I've seen delivery guys prop open the door to a walk-in freezer and a walk-in cooler and make several different runs without shutting it, right? Shut it on them, all right, because they're not the ones paying the bill. And then just monitoring your employees, making sure that the reach-ins, the walk-ins use a lot of electricity because they're just so big, but the reach-ins are the ones that people really mess up, especially like the drawers underneath your grills and stuff like that. People leave those open all the time. It's not unusual to see a line cook open to reach in, grab something, do the work with it, 5, 10, 15 minutes, leave it open the entire time until they want to put the thing back. There's no reason for that other than laziness, all right? So make sure that you have policies in place and supervision to make sure that doesn't happen. Putting shades on the windows during the summertime to keep the radiant heat out. All right, to reduce the radiant heat, make the not having to make the air conditioner work as hard, and then leaving them wide open in the summertime to not make the heat have to work as hard. All right, so that's just some things. Anything else you can. There's a whole laundry list in the chapter you can look at. Then manage demand is the other one. I told you managing or reducing consumption and then managing demand. How can I manage demand? Demand's demand. I mean, when we have the busy time, we have the busy time. There's nothing I can do about that. Well, you can understand when the busy time is, right? If we look at a bill and it says, oh, our demand fee is between this 15 minutes, and it's consistently within an hour or two with those that 15-minute between this hour or two, right? It's always around noon time, okay? So what can I do to reduce demand? I still have to do what I have to do. But some things I don't have to do when the demand is that high, right? If we just have a policy in a hotel to run our laundry at noon, that's a stupid policy. Run your laundry at night, right? Do other things. The same with the kitchen. If you're going to be doing a lot of prep work that's going to have a lot of electricity being used, why do that during the busy lunch service? Do it after, when the consumption is or when the demand is lower. All right. And generally speaking, the lunch service is when your demand is high. I mean, for most places, I'm sure maybe some places it's different, but most places it's going to be around noonish, right? So don't do the things that don't necessarily have to be done during the high demand periods. That's a way to reduce your demand. Okay? All right. So next we're going to be talking about oil, gas, and other fuels. All right, so let's talk about other fuels, gas, oil, and maybe some other types of fuels. Gas, well, when we talk about gas, we're talking about natural gas. You have propane, which is a different thing. It functions very similar, but it is a different element altogether, okay? So they're going to be built different, they're going to be used differently. So let's talk about natural gas first, okay? So natural gas, definitely, if natural gas is available in your area, it's definitely going to be something you're going to use in a commercial property. In a kitchen, for restaurants, the use of electric ovens and stoves is just crazy because it's very inefficient. Natural gas appliances are much more efficient, meaning that you get more out of the fuel consumption or the energy consumption out of natural gas than you would out of electricity. So, yeah, natural gas is great. And I mean, anybody who's ever cooked commercially or professionally knows that you don't want to cook in a restaurant on an electric stove. Gas is instant. It's off instantly. It's high BTUs right away. So it's a very good system, all right? Now, natural gas, the way you pay for it, your billing is somewhat resembles your electric meters and billing, all right? It's piped directly to you in a similar manner as electricity or water and be delivered to the building. While natural gas is subject to demand charges, is not generally subject to demand charges, which is good. You will pay a separate delivery fee and consumption fee. So your delivery fee is almost more like a flat rate, but you're going to see those two charges on the bill. Okay. Not every location has access to natural gas, so you might have propane. And propane is less efficient than natural gas. It goes back and forth. As far as the performance efficiency, they're very, very similar. When I mean that, when I mean performance efficiency, you know, for the amount of gas you use, the amount of effect is pretty going to be similar between propane and natural gas, all right? But the prices are going to be different, okay? There was a time when propane was significantly more expensive than natural gas. I don't know if it is now. It kind of switched there for a bit, but I think natural gas in the long run is always going to be cheaper than propane, okay? Propane is actually a petroleum product. So when we talk about crude oil, propane comes from crude oil. Natural gas is a separate thing altogether, found in the ground as in a gaseous form, and then processed. Where propane is refined from crude oil, where gasoline comes out, propane, heating oil, all those different things. All right, so you just need to know that if you have propane, it's going to be charged a little different. Propane, you pay for what you buy, right? They pretty much, if you have a tank, right, because it's not piped in, they bring it to you, all right? They pump your tank, they pump it in your tank, they put it there, and then what you use is what you use. You pay for X amount of money for each unit, and we're going to talk about units in a second. And then when you need more, you buy more, okay? You're going to pay for natural gas by the therm. That's natural gas by the therm. It's a measurement. It's 100,000. I think it's 100,000 BTUs. It might be 100,000 BTUs. But for propane, you're going to pay by the gallon, or in some places by the pound, okay, or the kilograms or liters. All right. Fuel oil is the same thing. They're gonna come in, they're gonna fill it. Now, fuel oil, of course, you don't have. Generally speaking, you don't have appliances that use fuel oil other than your furnaces. All right. So fuel oil is going to be something that if your furnace is fuel oil, you'll have that. You might also have propane or natural gas. Generally speaking, if you have propane or natural gas in the building, you're probably better off to have your furnace in that same fuel, okay? It's really nice to be able to reduce the amount of energy fuels that you use, and along with electricity, okay? So let's see. Managing fuel costs is the same as managing electricity. You only operate those machineries or that equipment that is necessary. Turn those ovens off when you need to, or when you can. Set your domestic hot water so that it doesn't exceed 115 degrees Fahrenheit at the tap. There's a couple reasons for that. I mean, liability of burning your guest at a hotel. You definitely you don't want it to be scalding hot, but also is reducing your fuel bill. All right. Let's see. Full loads of only run full loads in the laundry. Only run full loads in the dish pit. That energetic dish guy, dishwasher. He wants to get all the work done. So there's no dishes. He's caught up, and then one server comes with 2 plates. He rinses them out, puts them in the machine, and runs the machine because he doesn't like anything stacked up. Make sure that you're on that. Make sure that doesn't happen. All right. We don't know what the future holds for this, right? For fossil fuels, okay? We don't know. All right. So finding alternative methods on the micro, the nation finding alternative methods is going to be important. But maybe finding different ways to reduce what you use is going to be good for you in the long run as well. Next, we're going to talk about water management. So for water, we're going to get billed in 2 ways. We're going to get billed for the supply and the sewer, okay? So the supply portion of your bill is based on meter readings, and it's taken by the utility company. A typical unit of measurement in the United States is 100 cubic feet, or CFCC. Could be also cubic meters if you're in a place that uses metric system. All right. So then this, so you pay per CFC or CCF. Did I say CFCC? CCF cubit, 100 cubic feet. I guess the first C is century, right? So 100 cubic feet, CCF. Boy, it's hard for me not to say CFCC. CCF, okay? So that's what you pay for. You pay X amount of dollars per that. What you use, what you pay. So that's part of your bill. The second part of your bill is your sewer bill, okay? Now, in a lot of non-commercial properties, they base their sewer on 100% of your supply. So if you take in 100 gallons, they estimate that you close to that amount of money is going to go into the sewer, and that's what you pay for, okay? However, for commercial properties, they know that a lot of that water stays on the property, okay, or doesn't go straight into the thing. So they're going to pay you, you're going to charge more for your sewer bill because they want to make sure that they get theirs, okay? So what I mean by that is like swimming pools, cooling towers, other things along fountains, water features, a lot of stuff like that on a commercial property doesn't go into the sewer right away. So you might pay more money for your sewer fee, okay? Your sewer meter is the way that they're going to determine how much though actually goes into the sewer, okay? So managing water cost, how can you manage your water bill? Well, similar to managing your heating bill or your electrical bill, you just use common sense, right? Now, in a commercial property, like a hotel who's got like 60 sinks and 60 toilets, 60 bathtubs, okay? There's a lot of things to go wrong there, right? A lot of leaks that could happen. Making sure that you're keeping on top of the leaks is going to be a big deal. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leaks on those faucets. Drip, 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 drip. Not only is it going to annoy your guest, but it's going to waste an enormous amount of water, and it's going to be expensive for you. So making sure those things are taken care of. Your landscaping, there's nothing in the world that makes me scratch my head more than being caught in a rainstorm, driving into my apartment and seeing during that rainstorm all of the sprinklers on at the same time. Now I understand that it is as a mechanical system, it's very hard to manage all that, but when you can do it, all right, make sure that you're only using your irrigation systems when you need it for your landscaping. Try to landscape with things that are more water friendly, use less water, and then we're going to have a whole chapter on that later on. Installing rain barrels. Now, to be honest with you, some municipalities don't allow you to catch water, all right? Use rainwater, and the reason being is because when you collect the rainwater, it's not going into the ground, and it's not going back into the system, as it were. So sometimes when you have too many people collecting rainwater, it can really mess up how the reservoirs are full and things like that. Okay. You can only run loads of laundry and dishwashers when you have full loads and stuff like that. So very similar to any other reduction in consumption. Let's talk about something a little different. That's gray water system. A gray water system is a water recycling system. So certainly you don't want water from the toilet being recycled back into your house for your tap water, right? And you don't want anything recycled to be used in tap water. But that tap water, when you sink waste, bathtubs and laundry, that kind of waste you can install systems that can recycle that to go into non-potable usage. So going back into to be used in the toilet and things like that. All right. It's a great system. People are using it more and more now. You have to check the cost and effect, or the cost, what your payback is going to be on that. But it could be something worth your while. All right, so that's chapter 4 in a nutshell. I really breezed through it. There's a lot of good information here. Go ahead, take your time. read the book, and there's going to be a quiz. A lot of those terms that I briefly touched on, the quiz is going to have a lot of different terms on it. So make sure that you familiarize yourself with those terms. Now, if you one of the students that bought the new updated or rented the new updated ebook, there's a really nifty little feature on at the end of every chapter, and it's the flashcards. Peruse those a couple times before you start the quiz, and it'll make it go a lot easier for you. Okay? And then I'll see you in chapter 5.